Gendrian, founder of AtoZ Communications, and this is the Brand Stories podcast. This is where we talk about everything related to public relations, branding, and communications in general. This week we have Quinn Palmer of Quinn Palmer Consulting. This is the second time that she's appeared on the podcast, as you may remember a past episode with her talking about math marketing. This time we're discussing what it's like to open a small business and what the difference is between being that solopreneur and a larger group. Quinn, I'm so excited to have you back on the podcast. Only a few people make it back, so kudos to you. And I'm fortunate enough to have you back because you're always a joy and a delight. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be back. And what an honor. I didn't know it was a rarity to be invited back.
I mean, it might in part be because this podcast is a little bit more than a year old, so maybe I just haven't gotten through it yet, but
right.
Still, it's still an honor.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah. So since we last spoke, so you've made some changes and whatnot. You've started your own agency, which is amazing. What has that been like, and what are you up to these days?
Yeah, a lot has changed since we last spoke. I think I'm still the same person with the same marketing philosophies, but in a bit of a different world. So I reopened my freelance marketing agency in April of this year of 2026. And so I was very grateful that I worked in freelance writing for a long time before I ever went in-house in startups. And reopening, I didn't have to go through the whole figuring out my taxes and learning QuickBooks, like all of the really high friction elements of starting a business I had already done. So I was really grateful to just get the ball rolling. And, I started off with my initial client in mid-April, and I'm at a point now where I'm hiring some team members and really just proud of what's already come in, 10 weeks time, I think it's been. And at this rate, I think I can call myself a full service growth marketing agency. Started with some content writing here and there, but I've touched every corner of a business at this point. It's been so fun.
Oh, good for you. I mean, that's flipping amazing. Let's just be honest. The fact that you've experienced that level of growth in such a short period of time obviously speaks to what you're capable of and your strategy and all this. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm still having little pinch me moments. And when I'm finding myself wanting to rush towards the next goal, my wife very kindly reminds me that I'm the age of an infant that can't even see color yet. So I need to slow it down.
Well, that's smart that you have that, because you're right. As a small business owner, it is this tricky, like, you can see and you want all the things, but then you also realize all the things just like it's impossible for that to all happen right now. It's hard to balance those two things.
It can be, yeah. And I'm a very, for better, for worse, a forward thinker. I think it's part of my strength as a marketer and part of my weakness as a business owner, where I'm imagining what life is going to be like, 3 years from now, which is not useless per se, but maybe not the best way to spend my time between 9 to 5.
Yeah, but after then you can totally focus on that.
And I do.
I'm sure you do. So for those people who might be thinking about, I think I want to do my own agency, but like, I don't know, how would you sort of explain what the pros and cons of doing it are?
The pros are what you probably dream of when you consider becoming self-employed, which is, control over your own calendar and the ability to choose who you work with and how you work with them. I think that's a real privilege in self-employment that not everybody gets the opportunity to experience. And especially if you're someone like me who's really excited by the opportunity to context switch and learn new things about new industries, it's a huge pro. If you're a forever learner or somebody who just loves academia or continuing to learn more about the world, getting deep into multiple different businesses, it's crazy what you learn. I think the cons are obviously also what you'd expect when you consider being self-employed. It's taxes and hurdles and confidence, maintaining your own sense of self and value. Pricing yourself is something that comes up a lot in conversations with other people as just one of the hardest parts about being self-employed. But I really think if it's something that you enjoy doing, the pros outweigh the cons. And if someone's thinking of starting it, I'm a big proponent of just giving it a shot. Like, I believe that the worst case scenario of starting a business is it doesn't work out and you go get a job until you figure out something else. I think that's a better worst case scenario than, dreaming of building a business for 40 years and retiring unhappy because you didn't get to work on something you loved.
Agreed. You're right. I mean, nobody wants to have that kind of regret in the end. So absolutely. Um,
Yeah.
since you mentioned pricing, so I'm not gonna lie, I personally had issues with that, and especially when I first started, I don't think I realized how much I mean, I was hearing from other people like, "Oh, you're underpricing," and it's like, I don't know, am I really? How do you have that? First of all, how have you tried to figure it out? And then to your point, I feel like I also, you know, it's this tricky, you don't want to feel like you're doing too much and then nobody's going to want you. But on the other hand, you feel like, yeah, but
Mhm.
I absolutely deserve whatever it is. And so, how do you find the balance there?
Impossible some days. I personally believe it to be the hardest hurdle for me as a business owner because I think there's also so much context and it's not, um, I've chosen not to offer hourly rates for the most part because I think projects in what I do, which is specifically growth marketing, need to be scoped based on the complexity. So if I'm doing growth marketing for a brand new in market B2B SaaS, it's a way different ballgame than a 10-year-old direct to consumer email campaign. And they might take me the same amount of hours, but it's the depth of work, the knowledge you bring to the table. I like to sort of, when talking with other freelancers, say that like your price starts at your experience and then it grows from what you can offer. And I've really benefited from reaching out to other people who do similar things as me and asking them what they charge for themselves. I think especially business owners are so willing to help other people, and if they're not, you don't want them in your corner anyway. And it's nice to sort of get a ballpark and understand what's happening in the industry and where you bring value. It is easy to both under and overprice yourself, but also keeping track of things. When do people say no? What price feels like too much for people? Keep track of your hours, because if you price someone too low and you think it's worthy, and then you spent 3 weeks on this project and you got paid $2 an hour, rethink it. So it's oftentimes just a bit of a math game, but it's also about believing in yourself and the value that you bring to a business.
Well, to that point, it seems like you're kind of perfectly suited for this because, as you were explaining the first time that you were interviewed, like you do the marketing with the math involved, and so like
Yes.
it does seem like you were sort of set up to succeed in that regard.
I I'm glad you think so. Because there are still days where it's hard and scary. It's the math helps me support um the math helps me support the value. There is still always the personal, ego and belief and confidence of the fact that you are worthy of that. Um, I feel like the math acts as sort of a receipt for those days where I feel like, you know, I'm a piece of crap and am I actually lying to everyone and nobody wants to hire me and all of these things are bad. It happens to the best of us. And I'm able to turn to that math marketing, is what I call it, which is just really digging into the ROI impact of the marketing that you're doing. But it goes the same for booking your hours or pricing yourself, looking at those receipts and seeing the value. It helps me get out of my head.
Yeah, yeah. To your point, I don't know what it is about whether it's being a business owner or the confidence of it being you as the leader that does it, but the imposter syndrome can get horrible. I mean, even just myself this week, I was oh my god, I what am I doing and do I need this? And then you wind up like signing two clients and you're like, well, obviously everything was fine. Why are you being like, why are you so in your head like this? I
Yeah.
don't know how we get like that. And I mean, I think it takes those tangible things to happen for you to pull yourself out of your head. But if you know of
Yes.
any ways that those intangibles can stop bothering us, I would appreciate it.
I I don't know if I do. Nothing that feels solid. It really depends on the day. I think lean on your community. I've really benefited from the days where I'm feeling down, or maybe I pitched a client and it didn't land or something, and I go back to my other business owner friends, a lot of whom I've actually done work with,
Okay.
who will sit there and say, I've worked with you before. I know your work is good. It maybe wasn't the right fit. I think I benefit from looking at the nitty gritty, understanding the why, understanding the math, and sort of letting go. I also believe in a good wallow. Like, if you're just having a bad day, have your bad day. Don't try to push it aside because it's going to come up over and over again. Wallow in it, wake up the next day and let it go.
Yeah. Love that. You are
Yeah.
so wise. You know that?
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Learned a few things from some weird time in tech.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, good that you learned it because, I
Yeah.
feel like, to your point of, experiences happen and whatnot, like as you're going through it, it feels like this horrible thing, or, how could I have, caused this to happen, or how did this happen to me? And I must have
Yeah.
deserved it or whatnot. And then you realize at the end of all of it, like, no, that was actually setting me up for exactly where I was supposed to be. I just like, it
Hmm.
was just painful, unfortunately.
Yes.
So yeah, I give you credit.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to go through. And I'm sorry to hear that you felt it, and also not surprised because I know you own a business. And so it's a nice little connector, I find, um, where when you meet someone else who owns a business, there's automatically a little bit of a wall that drops where you kind of are able to go like, oh, you know what I've been through.
Yeah. It's a very special
Yeah,
club that we belong to.
it is. It is.
Yeah. So how have you been able to find your community? You were saying some of them are people that you've worked with before, but I feel like it is
Yeah.
important to have, whether those are the people who reassure you afterwards when you're in your head and you're being crazy, that you're being crazy, or whether it's just those people that can help network for you and refer for you. How have you built up that community?
Yeah. It's taken a long time, but I think, um, first and foremost, being a genuine friend to someone. I give this networking advice often where, you should never go into a networking room with the intent to get something out of it, but instead with the intent to give. I sort of have this philosophy that I've spoken about on stages and bring to a lot of other freelancers that I like lovingly call karma marketing, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's sort of the ability for a business, whether you're a small business owner or a massive direct to consumer corporation, it's the ability to give without expecting return. And when I was laid off in February, it's when I decided to reopen my consulting business. And what was nice is that I knew that I had given everything I could to everyone that mattered. People who I thought were talented, I'm mentioning their names in rooms. People who came to me for work that wasn't work I could do, I'd pass it off to somebody I know. And I was really able to lean on that sort of good karma, so to speak, and ask for help. And oh my God, I received it. And I still pinch myself that when I got laid off, I had my wallow. Don't get me wrong. It hurt and stung and sucked and was scary. And then people banded around me to help me figure it out. And I think be that person for other people first, and it will come back to you. And you just like make friends. You're not making business connections every hour of every day. Make a true friendship, and that karma will come back tenfold.
Yeah. But so I give you the credit in that. I feel like it. I mean, I only started doing that myself, so I've been in business a little more than 2 years. I feel like maybe at like the 6-ish, 9-ish month mark, did I first start doing like a project for somebody who I love for free. And at the
Hmm.
time, it was like, well, I can't really afford to do this, but also I feel like it's the right thing to do. So like, may somebody rain down whatever extra money that I need to make it work.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
somehow it does make itself work, even though you feel like how I got 2 kids, like I can't just tell them no because mommy decided to do
Yeah.
something nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's very admirable of you to still do that. I mean, I made it sort of part of my mission as a business owner to do a volunteer project once per quarter. And sometimes all I have in that quarter is 3 hours, but 3 hours of my time costs other people a lot of money. And so small businesses or, grant funded projects, things that have those smaller budgets, um, it comes back to you. There are referral engines that you don't even know about because you made a good impression in a room one day. And it's funny because I'm the math marketing girly, and you can't attribute any of what I'm saying right now. And I think that's the point. Is you just have to go at it being kind and giving, and allow what comes back.
Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of clients do you work with, and who would be a suitable client for you to work with now, in case any of them so happen to be listening?
Oh, I appreciate that question. I went into this business ownership with the intentional process of not putting together an exact portfolio of here is what I do, because I wanted to play and continue working. I've been a jack of all trades marketer for so long, or solo marketers on teams where I am doing all of it. And so I've used that to my strength. And I offer services like PR, content, web development, social, email, strategy, all of the things. Strategy is where I have found just the most fun. But I also believe it is where I add the most value, because oftentimes people will do something without knowing it has an impact. And I've turned clients away when they ask me to redo their website, because I looked and I went, you don't need someone to redo your website right now. You need this instead if you're going to grow your business. But I work with clients of all sorts. I have some really wonderful direct-to-consumer clients. I'm back in B2B SaaS because it's where I sort of grew up in my career. And so my connections are there. And, technical writing, it fits into that bucket of being able to learn and challenge myself academically. It's such a vague answer. Anyone and everyone who's looking to grow. But I think also really looking for honest growth. Smack center of my website, it says that my company is in the business of giving a SHIT. I don't know if I can swear on this podcast. And I think, perfect. I'm in the business of giving a shit. And I think whatever you're selling, it needs to matter and it needs to make an impact on someone. And if it does, I can help.
Yeah, I love that. So you were mentioning before how you've come to build a team. So how did you, as a business owner, I feel like that's a really big decision to make of, there is that scale of, there are only so many hours in a day and I can only do so good if I'm literally exhausted, versus I need to pay for this. Can I afford to pay for this? What's the right amount? How did you come to make that decision?
It's really scary. I'll be completely frank with you, because you're responsible for other people's livelihoods. And I have not hired anyone on payroll yet. I'm utilizing contractors because I have a lot to learn and a lot to grow before I feel confident and comfortable, being someone's sole income. And so it's been a learning curve. Again, I've leaned on my community. I have friends who've been agency owners for 10 years. And I called them up. I said, can you show me your contract for your subcontractors? Like, how do I do this? How do I write this? But it's really, delegation is a skill that every business owner should have. I think every manager should have. It's one that I think is missing in a lot of businesses, is the ability to teach, train, let go, give feedback. And that is where growth is. I knew that I wanted to grow larger than a team of one, because I also have a family and I have, my wife is in school. We want to have kids. It matters to me to have something sustainable. And when you're freelancing, it can be really easy. Life happens. You might lose a client. If you lose that client, I personally don't want to also be losing my income. So having an abundance of clients in which dropping one or losing one because their budget changed or staffing changed doesn't hurt me was really important in my growth. I did not think it was going to happen 10 weeks in. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm a little overwhelmed, but I'm figuring it out because the last thing I want to do is get stuck in these opportunities for growth. When it gets scary and busy, that means good is on the other side. So I don't want to stop. Found some really cool people, all referred through other business owners. And it's, I'm very, very grateful. And I mean, there are talented people in this world. I know a lot. I'm not good at everything, and I'd rather bring someone in who's really good at it.
Absolutely. Well, to that point, and I think that you were alluding to it a little bit before, I feel like the other thing about business owners is, and I don't know if this is ego or whether it's just a lack of understanding of how to train staff, but it's that feeling of, but I have to create the same experience and I have to give them
Hmm.
basically Allie or Quinn in a bottle, but it's not me. So how
Yeah.
do you make that happen?
Oh, I don't know yet.
Well, what if you give
Yeah,
me a
I guess
couple
bring
months?
me on. Yeah, bring me on for a third episode in the year and I'll let you know.
Yep, you'd be the first one
And
for the
it's
third. Like, we'll
perfect.
do it.
It's yeah, maybe. And I think you probably have a similar experience where, as of right now, my business is just called Quinn Palmer Consulting. Again, I did that on purpose to leave room for play. I was not prepared to pigeonhole myself. I know I will soon because I'm a marketer. And I know that having a niche and being able to speak to that niche is it's a better asset. But right now, it is just me. And so I think I still have a hand on everything. I still hold and maintain most of my client relationships. My honest answer is I'll let you know once I pass that off, because right now I'm passing off execution, um, and not business growth or account management. And those are the things that will be hard because right now I'm me. And it's hard to believe some days, but I am the value that people are bringing in, and I want to make sure that they get that value. Make sure you're hiring smart, kind, good people who believe in the same work as you, and it'll come through. I
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah, well, I think it will. And to your point, I'm in a similar boat. Have a few freelancers, and have gone through some people before, but I think it does take that trust. So I have
Hmm.
one very solid freelancer. I had experience working with her in the past, and knowing that she was
Awesome.
available, it's like I can vouch for your quality, and I know exactly where you're coming from, and like this is amazing. Like this was just somebody that I feel like God dropped in my lap and was like, here you go, which is amazing. But yeah, it does take, I feel like, some trial and error otherwise. So
Yeah.
it's great that you got referrals, because I feel like then yeah, to, if those are the people in your community who are cheering you on, they're not going to send you something
Yeah,
not good.
exactly. And I'm so glad to hear that you have that person you can lean on. I definitely am growing into that and looking forward to it. And it is really, I think, a key item of business ownership is it. Even if you're a solo business owner, business doesn't happen alone. It can't. Not only do you need a team, but I also think you need a network, and those things kind of coincide. Your network helps build your team, and vice versa. I'm excited for you. I'm glad you have that person.
Oh, well, thank you. And
Mhm.
likewise, I mean, you're building out a team, and may you find those people. And the fact that you've done it in 10 weeks, God bless you, because I don't know how long it took me, but it was definitely like on the year mark.
Yeah, and I have complete recognition for the absolute privilege that I have, and that I'm not starting from scratch. And I think that is what sort of propelled me at this speed, is that I did the really nitty gritty stuff in 2022 when I opened this business. And I was really able to just go into it with a bit more freedom this time around. And so I don't, I don't want to miss out on recognizing that, like, a 10-week sprint to the point of I'm already hiring someone, it's not something to compare yourself to. I started this business in 2022. I started making my connections in 2020 when I joined, what I lovingly call startup land, in the nonprofit space. That's 6 years ago. I started this job. Um, it doesn't just happen in 10 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I give you a lot of credit for where you've gone, and I'm saying this as somebody who has to take this advice that I'm about to give you a little bit more myself. But I feel like we're similar in the fact that I put my head down very much, and it's just
Mhm.
you got to get the work done, and like there's so much to do, and whatever, that then you forget to look up and be like, oh my god, like it's been only how long, and like, and I did what now, like,
Yeah.
oh okay, back down.
Yeah.
So
You're doing it. You've had a
relish
podcast for a
the
year.
thank you.
Incredible.
Thank you. But yes, I hope that you bask in the gloriousness of 10 weeks and all that you've done for yourself and for your
Thank
family.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try. You're so right. Some days it's just like 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. I don't think, I don't talk, I just do.
Mhm.
Um, but I do have those little communities. I have a group chat with two of my closest friends who are also agency owners, who I texted when I hit a revenue milestone that I had a goal to hit by the end of 2026, and I've got it for August. And I was able to go, oh my God, you guys, I did it. And they were able to respond in all capitals, being like, I'm so proud of you. And I was able to return the gratitude in that half my clients wouldn't exist if those people didn't vouch for me. And so I cannot stress enough the power and the value of community. Even you and I connected, what, 3 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to still be connected. And, if and when it makes sense to send people your way, I still will, because we've built this friendship and this trust, and it matters. It matters in business.
Yes, it does. So one closing point. So I think you're also highlighting the importance. And one of the things that I feel like some people who are, whether they're in other agencies or they're in-house or whatnot, feel like, well, who's going to pay attention to like the little guy, or, there are just so many colossal groups in here. Like, aren't they sucking up all the business? So I think the fact that you've achieved what you have in such a short period of time is attesting to the fact that people follow where quality goes. It's not necessarily where like the big name is or the shiny object is. So
Yes.
thank you for being a testament to that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And don't let the sort of bigger players make you feel like there isn't value, because I think, especially, we won't dig into it, but in this economy, being the smaller, scrappier team is a huge benefit. You just have to find the people looking for it.
Yeah. 100% exclamation point on that. Similarly, having recently like built out a network of different specialties and whatnot, it does make you realize how much more nimble you can be when it's just,
Yeah.
let's get creative and like, hey, you're my buddy, let's do something together, versus must pay paychecks and benefits.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever think sometimes, as a business owner, sometimes I step back, I go, some people have one job their whole day, Monday through Friday, they do the same thing every day. Good for them. I hope it makes them happy. I can't imagine a world in which I have one job. I have 50 and I love it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny. So after my layoff, I thought that I was going to go back in house, and I felt like I wanted to do that because being in an agency, you get a breadth of what you're doing, but it's not the depth, because
Yes.
there's no time. You can't go all the way down. But at the same time, I think the way that my brain works and the way that I think is just so across. Like, I have to have 10 balls up in the air, and like,
Yeah.
hopefully none of them fall, but that's just how it works. So it's funny how the universe will give you exactly what you need, even if you didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And even when you're juggling that much, and it's going to happen when you're building a business, you're going to drop a ball. It's just important that you pick it up off the ground and you examine it and you make sure it's not broken, and you go, okay, what happened? Why did I drop it? Because if you're not asking yourself those questions, it's going to keep happening. But you've also been a testament to this, of just, you're still in business years later, and a lot of people are not. And that's not to say that they weren't talented, but it takes a certain kind of brain to be able to do that juggling. And it's people like you and I.
Oh, yes. So kudos to us. High five.
Yeah, high five. We're doing it.
Oh. Well, congratulations to you. I'm looking forward
Thank you.
to, may you have many more successes, whether they be revenue or having the kind of client that just makes you happy and makes you want to go to work. May all the good things come to you.
Thank you. And right back at you. I'm so grateful to have you in my orbit.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for sharing all this wisdom with everybody. May you all learn and take notes.
Yeah, not too many.
You got it.
We're figuring it out.